Hello, my name is Christopher Davidson, and today I will be describing the process of how the human heart pumps blood throughout our body. The human heart is about the size of our fist and is located in the center of our chest, and it is the most important muscle in our body. It beats more than 100,000 times per day and pumps about 2,000 gallons of blood per day. But before we can get into the details of this whole process, we need to understand some basic anatomy of the human heart. So there are three main components that make up the heart, which can be seen in this image. First, there are four chambers: the right atrium, the right ventricle, the left atrium, and the left ventricle. The function of the atria is to receive blood coming back to the heart, and the function of the ventricles is to pump blood out of the heart. The next component of the heart are the heart valves, and there are also four valves in your heart. There is the tricuspid valve, the pulmonary valve, the mitral valve, and the aortic valve. And the function of these valves is they act as sort of a one-way door that prevent the backwards flow of blood. So they really just regulate the flow of blood and make sure it's always going in the right direction. The third and final component of the heart are the blood vessels. And the vessels, the main point of these is just to simply carry blood throughout the entire body and to bring that blood back into the heart. So there are two main types of vessels. There are arteries, which carry blood away from the heart, and veins, which carry blood back to the heart. And the way I like to remember this is that I remember that arteries carry blood away from the heart, and they both start with the letter A. So that kind of helps you differentiate between the two. So now that we know the basic anatomy of the human heart, we can actually track the movement of blood throughout the heart and through your entire body. And this is represented in this image right here. So we are going to start in the right heart. And as you can see, the right heart is colored blue in this image. And the reason that it is colored blue is because the right heart receives blood from the body that has just been traveling through your tissues, and your cells take up all of the oxygen of that blood. And so this blood is now deoxygenated, which is denoted by the color blue in the image. So we will start in the right atrium, which then pumps the blood into the right ventricle, like we talked about earlier, and then pumps out of the heart through the pulmonary artery. And the pulmonary artery then branches into two arteries that travel to the two lungs in your body. And in the lungs, the artery branches off into smaller capillaries that cover the entire surface area of the lungs, and the blood travels through these capillaries and picks up the oxygen that you breathe in and releases the carbon dioxide that is made during the cellular respiration process. So this is denoted in the image by the color change in the lungs from blue to red. Like I said earlier, the blue color represents deoxygenated blood, and now the red color that it changes into represents oxygen-rich blood. So this oxygen-rich blood is then pumped back from the lungs to the heart through the pulmonary vein, back into the left heart, into the left atrium. And from the left atrium, it is pumped into the left ventricle, and then the left ventricle pumps the blood out through the aorta, which is the major artery that pumps blood through to our entire body. So the aorta then branches off into smaller arteries that travel all throughout our body, whether that's up to our brain, up to our head, up to our arms, to our legs, just everywhere. And these arteries branch off into smaller arterioles, which then branch even further to capillaries. And in these capillaries, the blood travels through them and transfers its oxygen to the cells and the tissues. And then the tissues then transfer the carbon dioxide and other waste back into the blood. And this is shown in the image by a color change again, where it changes from the red color, which is the oxygen-rich blood, into the blue color, which is the deoxygenated blood. And then this deoxygenated blood is then pumped back to the heart, through the veins, back to your right atrium, where we started. And that cycle just continues throughout your entire life, really. So finally, now that that has all happened, overall, the heart is just basically a really basic pump. However, it is necessary to sustain life, and it is truly the hardest working organ in our body. Thank you.